Nor should they.
And buy ads.
Nor should they. That would be a bad business model for them. All
But
you're
they
doing,
could-
that's what we do with provincials here. We don't stream the other games because all you're doing is splitting the eyes. You can't
Right.
stream the other guys and get one additional viewer. You can't. All you're going to do is split your audience.
So what if you did it afterwards, though? Like record it and then put it out afterwards?
It's a possibility, but where's the revenue for that? Why would TSN do that? Like, there's no revenue stream for them. They're in business to make money, and the issue with trying to stream it live, you split your audience. It's still the same issue. There's going to be production costs to doing it, and there's no
Anyway,
revenue.
I think we're live, aren't we?
Commercials haven't gone yet.
No, but the game started.
They're way early.
Yeah, they sure are. But there's the first rock of the end. Are we actually watching? We're not watching the sheet, are we?
Okay, looks like we're up and running now on the right game. Sean Joyce with you here live from the Saville Shootout. Matt Hames joining me for this broadcast. Mike McEwen, Brent Pierce. Round robin action.
This is the kind of wide open end that kind of expect a little bit from these guys. Just get used to it.
Mike McEwen won his... Sorry, Matt, go ahead.
I was going to say, after his little sojourn to Ontario, he has gotten a little bit more aggressive.
McEwen, of course, did win their opening game last night against Steve Laycock. Brent Pierce lost his opening game. This is the second game for both teams. They'll be on the ice again later tonight. Matt, you and I were discussing our curling history a little bit before the game. I was actually looking online before. I'm getting a little longer in the tooth myself. There's still 5 players on this sheet tonight, or this afternoon, that I've played against, and I was trying to figure out if there was 6, because I know Matthew Blanford, the third for Brent Pierce, was around at the time that I was still playing. I just, for the life of me, can't remember whether I've ever played against him or not.
Yeah, well, I've played the skips, and that's it. That I know of. I am definitely getting old, so.
Well, I've got a little bit of advantage there in that Colton, Kevin, and Daniel are all Saskatchewan born and bred, same as myself, and the team's registered out of my home club at Newtana. Although I haven't played against this particular lineup. I played against Mike when he was still playing with BJ.
Yeah, I moved to the States in 2002, so I would have played. I played Mike and I played Brent before I moved to the States. I played Mike as on an American team.
Well, it started out as an open end. We've got a few rocks in play now, a center guard, a corner guard, and the Yellowstone at the back of the 12-foot that they're looking to freeze to.
Yeah, force it out to the wings here. Brent's got a center guard to use later. So probably a little tight, maybe just a hair tighter than he wanted, but not much.
I don't know if you've had a chance to watch any of the games so far, Matt. I've been here for I did 4 games yesterday and 1 this morning. What I will tell you is they can get away with tight guards on this ice, especially at the center line. You'll see these rocks as they're coming in towards center. They look like they've got a ton of room, but from about 10 feet outside the hog line, they really start to break. There's a big movement, and it's all late, which is great when you're trying to come around a tight guard like that.
Yeah.
They still don't even have to come by that guard real tight.
Right, yeah.
They can dead bury it.
They're going to dead bury it. This is one of those tricky shots, right? Because if you roll under and then Brent makes that, he wants to under roll this a tiny bit, not roll completely under. So I think that's why he's just playing backline white.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, when you're playing, it's never that bad when you're playing towards the corner with last rock. If you've got Brent chasing you over there, you're probably pretty happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a nice end developing right now.
Makes the tap, does get a little bit of a roll.
That's pretty good.
He might have left enough room to make the double.
I think he's okay with the double because, again, the double rolls to the center. It could even potentially throw this a little bit, half a rock makes the double, but then you lose your shooter, right? And then Mike comes around and sits T-line, and now you're in a much better situation if you're Mike. Key to this shot is to make sure you hold your shooter.
Got to hold the shooter, yeah.
Very tempting to throw this a little bit hard and to call it towards a 3/4 rock. Make sure you make the double. Sweeping it to curl.
It's going to be a little thin on the first one. Dead jams it.
That's not the result that they were hoping for.
Well, I heard Mike ask, do you like that, the come around on the center? And the answer must have been no.
Yeah, the answer was a hard no. I like the outturn come around to the top 8-foot, though, because it forces them to either play the run back or think about the intern, wide intern. All of a sudden brings a bunch into play.
I know what you mean, but I know why the question was asked too. It's, do you really want to play around the other team's center guard in the first end?
Yeah, no, we're gonna have this. We're gonna have a nice debate about going hard or going conservative.
Well, you can still go hard going around the corner guard. The really conservative play would be to play the open side 8-foot and just try to protect your deuce. This is still setting up a chance for 3 by coming around the corner.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree.
Where I thought you were going and where I'd go with this is that you see so many of these top teams. I mean, it's been a few years since I played it against some of the top competitive teams, and we used to look at odd versus even end when we got into 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
A lot of these top teams are looking at it already in the first end. So whereas he doesn't want to come around the guard in the first end, in the second end, in an even end, he might have been willing to come around center.
Yeah, I hear you.
Though it's subtle things, but it's a big difference at this level.
I agree. The only thing I would say is Brent's going to play the appeal of this corner guard. If you freeze to either one of those, including the back one, if you can make that freeze to the back one, you're kind of out of the end.
Chase around the corner is always dangerous when you don't have last rock.
Because if you tick, you're bringing lots into play. This is to try to stop the bleeding right now.
And Mike really didn't mind grouping his rocks around the corner because,
Yep.
again, going back to that odd versus even end thing, he'd take a blank in this end. He'll take a blank in the odd end every day just to get last rock in the even ends.
I think this is Flash's last. I seriously contemplate throwing a corner guard on this. Guarantee your deuce if you go to the open side, probably.
Probably, yeah. And the scary thing is this is going to come down to timing. We were just talking about Brent perhaps chasing around the corner guard. And yes, there's potential for disaster, but if you throw up that corner guard one too many times, well, that doesn't leave enough rocks for a big disaster. And eventually he is going to try that freeze.
Yeah.
So they decided to split the house now. They could just as easily go around the middle too.
Yeah.
You're conceding that double on the other side.
Concede the double. You can't
made.
roll behind, and it still has
Nope.
to be made. And then you can play a hit and roll out to the wing again, and he's going to just hit one of the open ones. He's not going to go around the center guard.
Yeah.
Not
No, that's what I'm talking about. Mike could have come around the center there. You concede the double. He plays the double. You come around the center again, and you've got a chance for three as long as he doesn't make the run back.
Yeah.
But back to the earlier discussion, do you really want to play around the other team's center guard in the first end?
No.
You don't want to get forced.
Yeah, you force them to make a run back nut, and they make it on you, and then you feel dumb. It's a decent amount of ice, so he's probably just playing normal here, normal-ish.
Yeah, the line will hold a little bit more with the bigger weight.
Yeah.
He'll look to come just off the nose at the end. Needs to get just across the face a bit, but they're on the brush early.
Holding it straight.
He's got to hit close to the nose. I don't know if he's going to hit the front one at all. Just touches it. For a moment, I thought he might actually get by the first one and just pick the back one out.
Yeah, so this is also an interesting shot. Like, where do you go so you can't group them? What you don't ever want to do here is go around their guard. Now, you want to avoid that as much as you possibly can. You just want to group these in a way that gives a double, but not a roll behind the corner.
Yeah, you've got to force him to hit it. If you come around the middle, he just follows you down, sits on top of you, and he takes away the other two stones.
Yeah. Just shrink the house, right? If you go perfect top four and he freezes on top of you, then you have to draw the 4 foot for two. Yeah. Whereas here you go to the edge of the 12 and he's got like a double to roll out, and then you just have to hit paint for two. So it just increases your percentages. That is also true for cub curlers too. Like in this situation, what Mike is trying to do is over curl his back one so that the double doesn't create the roll. That's the key to this shot. He doesn't mind leaving the double. He just doesn't want to leave a double and roll behind the center. Perfect spot.
Right on the tee line.
Yeah.
For those who haven't seen this team yet, we should let them know. Colton Flash throws the third stone, but Kevin Marsh is the second, and he's in the house when Mike is throwing, and that comes down to Colton being such an effective brusher. It was something they decided to do last year when they put this team together.
So here's an interesting. He's taken probably like 5 inches more ice, 4 inches more ice here. So it might have been just a misread of the broom in the first shot.
Could be. I will say. I mean, this is only the second game for these teams, and I don't know how much chance they would have had. Or maybe they should have played twice yesterday. I might have to update my standings here.
Yeah, I still don't know how it's going to come off those walls.
Yeah, well, they probably haven't thrown a lot of hits out wide.
Yeah.
Makes the double. Does get the second rock all the way out of the rings. Didn't any more than get it all the way out of the rings, but it is a draw for two now for Mike McEwen.
Yep, just got to hit, full 12, piece of the 8. The supers are thinking piece of the 8 right now. All we got to do is bite the 8 and we're good. Line shouldn't be a problem. I think they were taking middle of the 8 for the draw to the button.
Final stone for Mike McEwen here in the opening end. With the hammer and a chance to pick up 2.
Gave her a little on the outside there to make sure that it's by the guard, just as he was releasing it. Should be good. They don't seem that worried.
I have lots of room by the guard at the hog line, and then you take a look at these rocks coming into the house, just about going sideways.
Yeah.
That was on the outside of the 4-foot when it crossed the hog line, and he ends up dead buried on a guard on the other side of center.
Some good movement.
Mike McEwen picks up his 2 points here to start things off this afternoon. He's got the 2-0 lead. Brent Pierce will have last rock when we come back. Two points for Mike McEwen in the opening end. He's got first rock here as we begin playing the second. Missed the call, but I would assume that they're looking for this right into the rings. Although they're sweeping it like they want the guard.
I think guard.
Yeah, looks like it. Well, if you know that Brent Pierce is going to try to score in the second anyway, you might want to just take the play away from the corner.
Yeah.
Brent's going to throw the corner guard anyway. First event of the year for the announcers too. I have to admit, I've got too many screens open trying to keep track of all the everything for the men and women. I didn't have my standings updated for the men here before we started. So Mike McEwen comes into this with a record of 2-0. Brent Pierce comes into this game with a record of 0-2. This is Pool C action. So really, you have to think a must-win game for Brent Pierce.
Yeah, absolutely.
Two losses might get you into the championship on Monday. It might not. 3 is definitely too many.
Yeah, 3 is far too many. 2 is probably too many.
Somebody in 4 pools, somebody's probably getting in with 2 losses, but then you're relying on tiebreaker scenarios, which comes down to draw the button. You prefer not to put yourself in that situation. Now, if you're Brent Pierce, you're already there. So you just have to look at it. We need to win our last 3 games and then hope we've got a good score. And I assume it's the draw to the button that they use as the tiebreaker when it's going across pools, but I don't actually know that.
Outturn freeze on the top.
Or come around the corner. That's the 2 options.
Yeah. I don't hate
either. And I think he was asking because he gestured both.
Yeah,
so nothing wrong with either shot. Sometimes you leave it up to which one does the thrower feel comfortable throwing.
Well, yeah, this is basically the same shot, just a little bit more weight, a little bit less ice. I don't think they like it.
Yeah, it's never a good sign when the sweepers stop at the hog line.
No. A little bit too much, a little more weight.
Slides through the back. Second for the McEwen team is Kevin Marsh. His brother Daniel, the lead. Twin brothers. Easiest way to tell them apart. Kevin is up on his toe, where he should be.
Oh.
I'll tell you a story, Matt. A lot of people have heard this story before, but we haven't worked a game together. You haven't heard this one from me before.
No, I haven't.
I was playing in Yorkton at one point in time a few years ago, and we happened to play a game against Jeff Stoughton's team, and he still had Jonathan Meade playing with him, and we're sitting upstairs after the game, and a young fella came over, and I know the guy quite well now, but he was a junior curler, came over to ask for Jonathan's autograph, and Jonathan asked, well, what's your name? Who would I make it out to? And his name was Jason Tucker. His name still is Jason Tucker, for that much, for that matter. And he says, Jonathan's response didn't miss a beat. He says, "Well, with a name like that, I hope you don't start with your heel on the ice." and he says, "Yeah, I do." And he said, "Oh, why would you want to start with that kind of handicap?" And I love that.
Nice.
Brent, you try to clean things up in the middle, but they just got the one.
You see some guys who were great tuckers in their 20s and 30s, and then as their 40s and 50s come, it's not as easy to tuck anymore on the old knees.
It's not the knee that's the problem. I still tuck. It's keeping the belly off the ice is the barrier.
Oh yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. Yeah, we flat footers can get as can have the Eddie Wernick belly and no problem. We're good.
I don't know what it is about curling sweaters, but they seem to shrink in the closet over the years.
That is true.
Another guard put up, another attempt at the double peel. And once again, just drives it by the tighter guard, this time leaving his shooter in play.
I'll give you a funny story about the curling sweaters from a Saskatchewan guy. During the pandemic, we did a lot of curling watch parties. So we watched a bunch of old curling games, invited a bunch of people who played in those games to come and watch them with us. We called it the curling Zoom. And so we had the Brier final between Pat Ryan and Eugene Ritzik, a famous Brier final. And Eugene showed up for that. He was one of the only players that showed up after losing the game. He showed up. Not only did he do that, he went into the closet and put on his Saskatchewan sweater.
His will still fit.
Still fit.
Oh yeah, I know Gene quite well.
Yeah.
We actually, in Saskatchewan here, I work with the provincial broadcast team, and we did a feature on that team for the Fifth End Breaks. That would have been 2 seasons ago. And he was very cooperative, quite willing to talk about it. I'm sure it was a sore point at the time, but yeah, there was a lot of interesting things about that game that you forget. The fact that the other 3 sheets were all covered by the time they got to that game. You know, it's so far back, you don't remember that. Oh,
he also told us that the ice maker told him that get it done by 8 ends, or else, because I don't think you'll have ice by the 9th and 10th end. And it turns out he was dead right. They had no ice.
Well, another attempt at the double peel, and again, not able to get the second one out of the way. And this time he's left staggered guards on the center.
Yeah.
Mike McEwen definitely looking at coming around again. I think his thought here is we come with the wide intern, we don't worry about leaving a double.
Yeah.
It looks more natural to come from the out turn side, but the problem is if you leave it half out in the open, you'd leave a double.
Yeah, we'd just rather not play that side of the ice right now and just try to get another one on to put some pressure on. These guys have a good conversation about the time and the speed. They have a good feel of what the ice is going to be like right here. So
yeah, it'll be a little bit of a guess just because they don't go out this wide very often.
Yeah. Well, they're just going a little bit outside the footprint area, so got to go for line. I think it's good.
It's going to really start to move now.
Yeah.
Now, if that was just a single guard, that likely comes out into the open, but with that wall of guards on that side of the sheet.
It's interesting they took that far. I think.
Well, I mean, you look at it; it's completely gone. Like it's buried. In fact, it's the quarter of that rock is actually guarded by the red one.
Yeah,
it had to come by. Look at the guard it came by.
Well,
and where it ended up. That's wide open if there's no other guards there.
I think the logic of taking it that deep is if it comes down to Brent having to draw for one, they just wanted to make it tougher.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, and you know, you get a piece of the forfeit, you got a better chance to steal.
Yeah.
That rock in the middle is a good shot for the force.
Yeah.
But you don't expect Brent Pierce to miss the forefoot with his last one. That stone that was just brought into the corner forefoot, that's a very potential steal stone.
Well, what's interesting now is it's hard. You can't guard them both, right? If you guard the one that's on the center line, you might leave a port there to play an outturn hit and roll. If you put it right where his broom is, you're going to leave the one on the center line half open,
which leaves the slash double.
But if you dead guard that one that's on the center line, then you leave a little board hack weight hit and roll. Or I don't think they can play hack weight actually at it.
No, they probably have to throw some weight to make
pretty hard at it. But they might be able to come off the back of that red even. It's interesting because it's not an easy guard. A lot of ways to make this, a lot of ways to miss this guard. I think they probably want it tight as possible.
Yeah, and I think Colton Flash just confirming where they want it. So he's kind of showed us where they've called it. So split the center line really tight to the 12-foot.
Yeah.
That would still leave the port to the shot stone, but
I think it would still leave the slash double and the port, but that also leaves doubt.
Yeah, if you split the center, I don't know if you could see enough to play the slash double.
Maybe not. I only think you need to hit a quarter of the.
I'm seeing a little thicker to not.
A little thicker? Okay.
There. Yeah, I think a quarter just stuffs it.
Yeah, it might. It might spin too.
Might.
It's not bad. Definitely took away the little hit and roll.
Yeah, it overcurled the split center a little bit.
Yep.
The port might be there with a bullet, but probably all you're doing is hitting it right on the nose, or you might be able to do it, I guess, with the out turn, but then you're rolling to the corner. That doesn't help you. You won't be shot rock. I think he can see enough to play the slash double.
I think he's going to have to try to take a run at that.
Yeah. And you know, the hesitation here for Brent Pierce is he knows I can make this, sure. And then he's just going to come around it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if he puts it on the top of the button, it's probably a steal.
Yeah, because you're not ending up. It looks like you know what it looks like he's playing though. It looks like he's playing with enough weight to hold his shooter.
Yeah. He
so
may not
trying
kill
to
the
just
second
move
stone
him around. Maybe get lucky, like punch the one on the 4-foot out, and maybe lose the one he's hitting. Like hit as much of this rock as you possibly can with a control weight, because that's a ton of ice, right?
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's trying to hold the shooter and not even necessarily be shot, even if it's second shot. Just put a rock in a position where Mike McEwen can't come around again. He's got to make a play on this stone, and then you should have a shot for your single.
This is a veteran call right here. Got to make it, but it's a veteran call.
Makes the hit, catches the second stone. They
Almost
had to decide.
perfect.
Yeah, they had to
Almost
decide
perfect.
which one they were going to try to sweep, and
Yeah.
in the end, not able to get. You can only have one sweeper behind the tee line.
Just a smidge heavy and a smidge too much. Need to curl just a little bit more, but really, really close to making. Like again, if his rock is sitting where the brim is right now, it's perfect. Didn't miss it by much.
No, but as it is, it's right back to what we talked about. You make the double. Mike McEwen has the chance to come around. If he sits to the top of the button here, he's probably got a steal.
Yeah.
Brushes are down, but they were just cleaning it early. This is a good example of how much it curls. Look at where that stone is. It crosses the hog line.
They don't mind even leaving it half open, right?
Yeah.
That might be a half too much, but it's still.
Yeah, he needed just a couple of feet more weight.
It is. It's actually like if you're Brent, you gotta throw it and you can barely roll. You almost have to nose this.
Well, and if you dead nose it, it might jam at the back. So you got to be just a hair off the nose.
Yeah, but as close to the rock as you can get, or just play the same in-turn draw that Flash made. You watched him do it.
Yeah.
That's probably the shot, right? Play the in-turn draw that. You got a time on it. You got ice on it. Like unless he got.
Oof. You could go a little wider and throw the out turn again.
It's a smaller target this side than it is the other side. I get what I get it. Like you got to get by this rock. It's
well, if you come to the red one that Mike just threw, you're only giving up one. If you crash the yellow guard trying to come around the in-turn side.
Oh yeah.
You looked at how much Colton Flash, and he made his shot, but you look at how much it curled. I mean, it was completely over curled on the guard when it made the house. You got to flirt with that guard to get a piece of the 4-foot. You probably feel pretty confident as long as your weight's good here, you're giving up no more than one.
Yeah. Skipper likes the out turn too, it looks like.
Could be. I don't think that's anything new for Brent, actually. Old habits die hard.
Yeah, no, I know.
This line's going to get tight to that rock in the rings.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tight. It looks a little heavy. They're trying to play the bounce
maybe
off it.
Playing the little rub.
Yeah, might have got a spin. Nope.
I don't think so. And I think they could have got by and they would have stopped back 4-foot.
I think so too.
So it's a steal of one.
I think that was a miscommunication.
Yeah, a little bit. Does cut him down to the single point. Mike McEwen picks up the steal here in the second end. He'll take a 3-0 lead into the third. Daniel Marsh getting us underway here as we begin playing the third end. Mike McEwen with a 3-0 lead over Brent Pierce. McEwen trying to move to 3-0 here. Off to a good start.
I think he's still throwing a center guard here.
Yeah.
I like it. He knew we were commentating. He's like, let's make it interesting for him.
And nothing wrong with coming in on a shot like that either. You're up 3-0. You probably assume that Brent Pierce is going to throw a corner guard anyway. If he wants to hit a rock in the rings, you'll let him blankly end with a 3-point lead anyway. But if he throws the corner guard, then you could guard shot rock in the middle as well. So by the time 3 rocks are gone, you could be in the same situation either way.
Yeah. So definitely 100% for competitive curlers. What if you're talking to club curlers? What would you recommend for a club curler at this point?
Depends on the level of your club curlers. Sometimes you're just hoping they put it in play somewhere.
Well, exactly, right? So you're mildly men's competitive night, but their best days are behind them, kind of.
Guys. Yeah.
I think I'd still throw in a center line guard.
Yeah, it depends. With some teams, and you might be fine with this too. With some teams at the level you're just discussing, you throw the center guard, and they're just going to come around it.
Yeah, that's true.
And they can get their deuce that way too.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with them coming around my guard in the middle when they have hammer.
The leagues I've been playing in the last few years, club play, a lot of the leads don't throw too many hits. So you might just throw it in and trust that they're going to throw a guard anyway.
Right, exactly. There's that too, right? If McEwen switches the order of these 2 rocks, Brent's still throwing a corner guard no matter what.
Yeah. Like we could have come back from the commercial at the 4th rock, not knowing how we got here, and it could have been either way.
Yeah, it could have been either way because no matter what, Brent was throwing that corner guard.
Yeah.
So, in the competitive game, definitely. Maybe even in club curling game too. Depends on your level. Now they're trying to short here is okay. They don't want to bounce off. They just want to get rocks in play that are hard to remove.
I'd like to get by the center guard.
Yeah, they're good. That's
good.
It's a nice little shot too. A nice little tap.
Talking about them playing that corner guard. And of course, the thing now, and you go back before the free guard zone rule. If you had last rock, you wanted to play on the corner, so you throw that 1 corner guard out there. Mike McEwen is going to try to make you play in the middle of the sheet for the rest of this end if he can.
Yeah.
And the next few shots for Brent Pierce are going to be about trying to clear up the middle so that he can use that corner guard later on in the end. So it becomes a bit of a game of cat and mouse.
It does. And for Brent, what he really truly wants to do as he starts to move things around is keep his rock in play if possible. As many rocks in play. Like he just needs rocks in play now. So this actually kind of worked out because he could make this double peel and roll up for another corner, it looks like, because they're staggered just in the right way.
Yeah.
Hit the one on the left first from the overhead. Hit the one on the right first now and roll up, but he's playing it the other way.
Yeah, it doesn't
look like it goes there.
It doesn't look like it goes that way, but
no. He just wants to sit there. Like he is right now. It opens up the back one. Like if it does sit where his broom, it's probably going to end up sitting dead on the center line, which is not bad either. It's not awful. It opens up the back ones.
Well, it's his own rock. If he needs to run it into that later.
Yeah. You might see Brent just rip you might see Mike start to think about getting rid of some of these.
You don't like to make a shot for your opposition, and it's Brent still trying to clean things up in the middle. His choices are to pick the yellow in the rings or guard it, basically.
Yeah. I don't think I like that pick.
It does make it a little easier
Yeah, it just makes it
Pierce to-
easier on Brent. You might as well just keep the pressure on. You've got him down right now. Just keep the pressure on.
He's still got to deal with everything in the middle.
It's a good spot. Maybe a little bit more curl than they
If it
wanted,
would have
but not
stopped
bad.
where you said it was.
He's looking at trying to play this with just like a control weight and get that yellow rock on the rings. So hit 3/4 on hit 3/4 off nose and roll under a bit and get the yellow rock to roll under too. It's like he's playing the out turn to cross it. It's a hard rock to throw.
Second for the Pierce team is Cody Johnston. I apologize, I haven't mentioned the lead yet, Nicholas, and I'm going to apologize twice. First, because I haven't mentioned him yet, and secondly, because I might butcher his name. Nicholas Umbach. He's actually going to hit the guard that was just thrown, and
and still get the shot. That's actually a better shot. It's a better result than he called.
If you had known you could make that, you might have called it.
Right. That's an absolute peach of a
got rid of all the guards and got another rock in the rings.
Well, it
twice. First, because I haven't mentioned him yet, and secondly, because I might butcher his name. Nicholas Umbach. He's actually going to hit the guard that was just thrown, and
still get the shot. That's actually a better shot. It's a better result than he. Mike's just looking at nose in this, not trying to make maybe like a little hit and roll. Nothing fancy. No need to play the double yet.
No, he might try to roll half in front of that yellow. He doesn't want to dead bury it, I don't think. I don't think he wants them lined up.
Just a little bit over there. Now, do you ever try the just off nose yellow? Yeah, that shot.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's a lot.
You don't even
have
to play it. To be honest, you don't even have to play it yet. You could leave those two and just straight draw around the corner guards.
I think you go around the corner guards and leave this. You
could do the same thing. I mean, if you hit this right, you can actually roll the shooter behind the corner guards. The yellow onto red will scoot behind that other red stone.
Yeah. Could you play it where
are we at? Third's first stone here. So
yeah, I think I would come around the corner first before I play this, because I think you risk grouping these. And
you could wait one more shot.
I don't know if you know, but Flash can hit pretty well.
Yeah, despite his name, he doesn't do that very much.
Yeah, so this was the risk. That was the risk of playing it right now, and now it's just like a
nose hit.
I think I would have seriously contemplated not even because you're playing Flash. You're playing anybody at this level who's going to be able to make this shot anyway.
Well, still, he makes the nose hit double. You still come around and be shot rock now. He won't have anything better than just full 12.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's true. And you still have 3 rocks to come, so you got a chance at your 3 or a deuce here. So now you got to make this come around. Double. You got to make this come around good. I think you want this just full 8, right? Like not T-line. I know he tapped T-line, but I think you just want this. Like you just want to be shot.
You've got to make sure it's buried. If they have to take it back and bury it, then bury it. If you can force, you're down 3. If you've got Mike McEwen trying to chase you behind the corner, you're okay with that.
Yeah.
You just can't leave him a piece where he can pick it out.
Yeah. Because he will.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of room. It looks like they're going early for weight.
They will curl towards the middle. They don't curl as hard from what I've seen going towards the corner. With this
going pretty good. Look at that.
Really
it's going sideways. Get it shot there, boys.
Maybe just a little light. If he's got a couple of feet more weight, they probably get it.
Yeah,
dead buried
it would be perfect.
Right
It looks
now,
like he's just playing picket.
well, I'm not sure the yellow one's shot rock.
I'm not sure either. I don't think it matters yet. It looks like he's playing like a hack weight or hacky, trying to hit and roll behind those corners. Probably like if he hits what he can see,
Yeah.
he's behind those two reds. And
Still, this is not an easy shot. If this moves as big as that draw did, it's a tough one to call the line because it's going to run for a long time. You have to wait. But if you wait too long, it could just go sideways like that.
You got to hold it on that line for almost ever. Go way early. Good shot. Still can probably get around. Is there do you ever play the double on the top two and hope you kind of roll up behind the guards and miss the back one and bring three into play?
You're never bringing three into play, even if you miss the back one. It's wide open.
That's fair.
So.
Yeah, you're not. Well, he's never doing that. So with only two, like, you could still get shot coming around the corner guard.
You could, but it's a tight port now. That redstone kind of in the way. I mean, it'll go. It's not going to look visually that good from the hack.
I just think that this double is actually like I don't think this double is the way to score two.
Well, which double are you playing?
The one that they're looking at. They're looking at just the centerline ones.
I think they're looking at the other two.
Really?
The wide two. You play the double on the wide two. There's no chance you're jamming at the back. You sit second and third. And if Mike hits second shot on the nose, he's probably not second shot himself anymore. The problem with hitting the one, so if we look from the overhead, the problem with hitting on the left side of the center line from the overhead is there's always the risk you jam it on the wide.
Yeah, there's a risk you jam. Absolutely. So you played this thin double, which is tough.
Well, you don't even have to play it thin. You could hit the back one first and come into the side of the other one.
Okay, I got you.
Out the side.
Yeah.
Sit second and third. And now what does Mike McEwen do? Because if you look at where your rock's going to be sitting, if he hits it right on the nose, he's not going to be second shot anymore.
So you think he's playing an intern right now?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to make the double on the two stones right by the broom.
Yep.
Sit right there. Leave shot rock open.
Yeah. Mike's going to probably play the hit and roll on the back one, I would think. Depends on where they all end up.
Perhaps. He's got to try to hit something where he can get second shot anyway.
Yeah. This is going to be moving though, right? Slid a little tight. Worked it out there though.
Gets the double and actually rolls over towards shot rock a little bit.
He must have just ticked the top one. He must have just
maybe did.
Probably
hit it first. We didn't get the camera switched over quick enough, but
he had to have ticked the top one because there's no way he could have got it moving that way.
So now for Mike McEwen to get second shot off the top one, he'd have to roll.
Yeah. Yeah, he's playing a hit and roll off the back one. It's a sensible call.
Might be second shot if he hits the back one right on the nose, but I think he'd like to roll in. If you don't roll at all, you'd leave Brent Pierce the possibility that he could kind of play that quiet weight slash yellow onto red and see if he could roll his shooter in.
Right. or even get the back one, the back two on the
well,
right. Like,
yeah, I think if you roll into the 8 foot, if you roll into the 8 foot, I don't think there's any chance he's playing that. But if you happen to stay right on the nose where he didn't need to roll in that far, it might be worth taking a pass at it.
Yeah. It might be worth taking a pass at that no matter what anyway, because like I think
it depends. If this rolls into the 8 foot, you're never rolling your shooter into the 8 foot.
Yeah.
So you really, it's only a shot for one anyway. Mike McEwen with a 3-point lead as we play here in the third. This is his final shot. He's got shot rock going after third at the back of the 12 foot. Makes the hit. He'd like to roll over, grab a piece of that 8, and he does.
Draw for one. Good end though. Good developed end for Brent. That was they had some chances. Just not going to get you're not going to get a lot of misses, so you've got to make good shots.
He's getting awfully tight to that stone at the top 12 foot again.
Yeah, he's going to take it. Still get the draw though.
Still comes into rest. Corner of the 4 foot. Brent Pierce on the board with a single point here in the third end. McEwen will take a 3-1 lead and last rock into the fourth. A couple of rocks already in play here as we begin playing the fourth. Nicholas Umbach looking for the come around. Nicholas is the youngest player on this sheet at 27 years of age, and I was wondering about it during the break. I'd have to ask Brent. Nicholas might be younger than the device that Brent uses to throw.
That's hilarious. Yeah. You know you're getting old when you have clothes that are 27 years old.
I might have used that joke before. I've got equipment that's older than some of the people that I'm playing with. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And if Brent hears about that one, I'm sure I'll hear about it sometime later on. But
I got a pair of curling shoes that are older than 27 years old.
can you still use them though?
Oh yes. You know what? They were the first and only ever pair of brown leather Dax. Remember when Dax came out with the sharkskin shoes? Way back.
I don't remember those ones.
Okay, no, so you would never remember mine because they were the only pair that exist. But but Dax came out with a pair of sharkskin shoes in the 1990s, like early 1990s, and everyone was wearing them. The problem was
I'm not the same fashion plate that you are, Matt.
Yeah, it's fair. It was an Ontario thing. It was there's a men's shoe store in Ontario called Dax, and they're really well made shoes. Anyway, the guy who was the VP of communications there curled at my curling club, and he was practicing one day with these shoes. And he said to me, "When are you going to get a pair of Dax?" And I said, "I don't know." And he goes, "Why don't you try these on?" And they fit perfectly. And I wore them for 20 years. They were awesome. Brown Dax. So warm on my feet. It was beautiful. But now I still have them. I bring them out every once in a while. Anyway, enough about my curling shoes. We got an end here.
We've got an end, yeah, and almost surprisingly so. McEwen with a 2-point lead here and last rock as we play in the fourth. He's probably not happy that their first draw at the end slid to the back of the house.
Yeah, it's not the ideal situation, but I think you're going to see him I think you might see him just walk up and rip this, right? The guard. Oh, I don't know.
I agreed. I thought you might see that. You still might. He's looking at the double just because it's available.
What's the upside of playing this double right now? Like, it's almost impossible to throw guard on this.
Well,
because you're going to leave the intern.
You could get rid of all those rocks behind the D line, and he doesn't like those either.
So. Yeah, I guess so. So what, he's trying to hit half a rock here and just get everything going? Yeah,
this would get kind of back to if they had thrown the center guard, you would come around. This kind of could be in the situation you were looking at earlier in the end. So this could get rid of all of that stuff in the back of the house.
It doesn't look like he's throwing it super hard.
No. I thought if he was going after this, he'd try to lose those rocks.
He's trying to hold the shooter, it looks like. Okay. There you go. I think you play the intern freeze on the top one, right? Yeesh. I don't know that you want to hit, do you? I know.
The scoreboard says no.
Yeah, the scoreboard says no. Like
right now, Brent Pierce has to be happy.
He's thrilled.
He's
thrilled.
Down 2 without.
Yeah.
There's 6 rocks have been thrown and they're all in play.
Yeah, like why take one out if you're him? Like, what's the upside? You're taking out third shot rock. I think you want to just corner freeze onto that top one. Yeah, that's the shot. He was eventually going to get there, I think.
You'd love to be able to play it from the other side. It just doesn't look as natural from the other side. It's the other corner that does you more good.
Probably because it jams on the other one.
And it is there on this ice. It doesn't look as good visually.
Yeah,
it's always a factor when you're throwing from the hack. There's always one shot's going to look a little bit more appealing than the other. This is curling early.
This is curling
unnaturally early.
Yeah, it's really light. So I think it's just a halfway guard.
I think it must have picked.
Might have picked.
Like that was moving way too early.
Yeah. I mean, again, if you're Mike right now, you're not loving the way this is going. And you got hammer, but you're not loving the way this is going. Lots of rocks to come.
This, I think, is coming down to that. And we discussed it even in the first, that even versus odd end thing. Mike's willing to play a little bit aggressively in the even end because he doesn't mind if he gets forced to a single here. He's okay scoring an even end, keeping the last rock in the even end.
Yeah.
But right now he's like that cartoon with dollar signs in his eyes. He's seeing the potential here for a big end.
Yeah, I think
you make
it's
a good
like,
draw here, you totally take away this side of the sheet.
Yeah, right. You force a possible like control weight run back of the one on center line down the road. Because you're setting up a quasi pocket for that.
Well, you look at where that rock was coming by the guards, and
Yeah.
it ends up quarter to a half under cover.
I think
Probably
if
a
you could
little
get
too
to the
deep,
nose
though.
of that, yeah, like if you could get to the nose of that or freeze to the nose of that or just like bounce it a tiny bit, like this is all good for
He
Brent.
had tons
This
of
is
room by
what
the
he
guard.
wants.
You could freeze the inside corner.
Yeah, this is what he wants. If you can just jiggle these a tiny bit here, just a T-line draw. If you get by everything, great. If you kind of come off it, perfect. I just wonder if that other one picked, or
The guard must have picked.
Yeah,
there's just no way
It's a
anything
big
curls
miss.
that early.
Yeah, it's way out there right now. It's got a lot of moving to do.
That should not be a problem if his weight's right.
Just get to the nose. All right, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to remove
That is
stone.
not going anywhere. Now I think you just ripped those two guards. You're not in as good a situation anymore as you were. I think you just yeah. Okay. We're into an end here.
They are.
Maybe let's try to put every rock in play just to see what happens. What could go wrong? You can get in there though.
Oh yeah, for sure. Nobody's been even close to the guard.
Skinny
yet.
this guard, and you might come off the inside, like you said. You might
skinny the guard. You might be on the red. Yeah.
Yeah, you might be on the red.
This looks like it's got tighter line early.
Yeah, it's got tighter line, definitely.
Should start to move now.
Very aggressive.
Can we get to the inside of that yellow?
Oh yeah. Well,
now if you're Brent Pierce, you can't really play your own because it's going to stay in the open.
Yeah, you can't play your own.
What have you got on the other side?
He's looking at hitting what he can see of the red and doubling those two out. So hit like the come with the intern, and now he's looking at the run back.
Well, somebody's looking at the run back. It's not Brent.
Yeah.
He's in the house.
Yeah, he's in the house. But he was thinking about the intern, hit what you can see on the just get by that center line rock and hit what you can see.
I'm not convinced he was looking at it with weight though.
Yeah, he'd be looking at it.
I think he might be looking at it with like back 8 and try to leave a pocket at the back of the forefoot and leave your shooter
back
in a
8.
position where it
Back
can be
8 might
promoted.
send that side rock over top of yours.
That rock's not going to go far anyway, and I don't think you need it to. I don't
think you need it to
right now, and it's hard to tell, but I think he's got second shot. The yellow stone, I believe, is second.
Yeah, the key to this shot, I don't think you need to be shot after this shot. What you need to be is in a good position to get shot.
Yeah, I don't think you want to be shot if this is the shot you're going to play.
I think he's playing this out-turn yellow onto red.
Yeah,
which I think is a very dangerous shot.
Well, it is because you're gonna create a way for Mike McEwen to get that yellow rock out. Right now, he can't get it out.
Well, he's looking at back, just tap it, which isn't.
He's hoping they're going to stay lined up, but
yeah, you're bouncing out a tiny bit.
If the yellow bounces out a bit, it could leave a way to get it out off that red at the side of the 8 foot.
It could leave smash, and it could leave.
Probably his only way to get shot, but there's a lot of ways this could go bad.
Yeah, this is a lot of ways to go bad. Right here.
Roll off of it a bit. You could leave a double on the 2 yellows.
Roll outside.
This is curling hard. He's going to be tight to the red.
Well, he got to the nose. That's good. That's not bad. That's a decent result because it does set up a shot later in this end to do that same thing and really get in there now for that yellow rock. Could you blast this? Could you just throw this could you just blast this right now? If you're flash.
Which one?
Hit the yellow, just dead on the nose, and just blast everything. You might end up sitting 2 in the top 4 foot, and like if you could get, can you get to the nose? You probably can't get to the nose with weight.
Maybe just. I mean, you could hit it on the outside too of that yellow, red that are in a straight line. The middle red's not really going very far.
I think if you hit
if
it
does,
on the
it's
outside,
probably spinning into the 4. But the question would be, if you play that, does the middle yellow go over top of that red at the back of the 4 foot, or does it jam into it? And it's hard to tell. If you hit that on the outside, it probably drags a little bit before it hits the first red stone.
Yeah.
Hits that first red stone a little thinner, it could dead jam into the back red. That's not a great result.
So what about this intern, the intern with back 8 foot weight again? Like just kind of hit what you can see and roll over and change the angle on the yellows. And then if he makes it, you've got to run back in, right?
Yeah,
your shooter kind of comes out there.
Problem then, if you play it with that kind of weight, when you change the angle on the yellows, that top yellow, the one that was just thrown, if you only moved it over about 4 or 5 inches, you actually angle the yellow into the red at the back of the 4 foot.
Right. Yeah, I know.
I think what they're talking about now is coming down and playing the tap on the red stone that Colton Flash just threw. You can get second shot out of it.
Oh yeah, that's not.
You want to be careful not to tap it too far,
right?
Because you leave the yellow off the red into the.
It's an overburied rock that you're trying to tap.
Here we go. We still got. There's 11 rocks been thrown, and they're still all in play.
They're playing a guard, so they're throwing the in-turn guard at this.
You're sitting 1 with last rock, throwing a guard on the 4 foot.
They're throwing a corner guard.
Yeah. Well, it is a corner guard, but it's still protecting the 4 foot.
Yeah.
And it's just because there's so many angles in the 4 foot that could go wrong.
I also want to say that if you're a club curler and you're watching this is the right way to play this guard. Like it is super hard to go way out onto the outside and play this out-turn guard.
You just can't make them stop curling.
Yeah.
You'd have a hard time throwing an out-turn and keeping it out there.
Well, the way to think about this is that early in an end, if you wanted to rock there, you would always play a corner guard. And late in the end, we sometimes try to play it with the wrong turn.
Might have overcurled though.
Yep, it did.
There's a port. He'd have to throw weight.
You were gonna throw some weight at this anyway, but now you're looking at just a normal. All you gotta do is come through this with even like a little control. What you're trying to do is come off that red and just sit in that pocket, right?
Yeah. The question is, does it touch the stone at the back of the 4 foot? And this is one where you kind of wish you had mics on the players, because from the overhead, it kind of distorts your view a little times. I've found over the years doing this, you kind of have to defer to the players on the ice. They have a better look at the angles than we do. To me, it looks like it goes over the top. But
it looks like it does, but it depends on where you hit that top rock. If you hit that top rock on the outside, on the high side, I think it actually does end up coming onto the rock.
Yeah.
The key is make contact on this and good things are going to happen, I think. As long as you don't throw a peel, which I don't think it's going to do. I think it's just going to throw a normal at this, or normal down.
The yellow stone you're making contact with doesn't have room to go anywhere. The red stone beside it isn't going to go anywhere either. Now, if you hit a little bit on the outside of the first yellow, that third red stone, the one that's splitting the center line, might move a little bit out into the open. And I'm not sure which team that benefits. You kind of have to wait to see where it stops.
So I think he's playing this. I think he's actually, the way that they're kind of talking about this, I think he's playing this with a down weight and trying to get as close to the top guard as he possibly can.
Knowing that it's going to finish and he's got to stay close to the nose.
So he's trying to get as tight to the guard as he possibly can to get as close to the nose as possible. And maybe even, the good Lord willing, a hair inside. And I think that ends up putting him in an awesome situation because it stays on that side of the sheet. What you don't want this to do, obviously, is to go to the other side of the sheet. Big shot here. Big shot in this game. This has been a really fun hand. Will this be the first rock out of play?
It's got the potential to be. Although he's got to move a lot of rocks to get one out of play.
Yeah.
This is going to have to curl. It might be just the corner guard that's coming out of play here.
Oh. Eesh. That hurt. Well, it doesn't kill him.
No.
It doesn't kill him, but it's not ideal.
It's not horrible.
No.
What does Mike do? Like right now, Brent's got two shots.
I think Mike goes top button with the intern.
But then he plays that same shot. And
he
sets it in front of a wall at the
back.
I
think you go top button open.
If Brent makes the yellow red and spins it over to the button, it's in front of two stones.
Yeah.
Right now, Brent has two. If Mike doesn't throw, Brent's got two throws, two shots. Yeah. He could play that same type of shot, or he could go to the other side of the sheet and play the draw down to the pocket at the back of the button.
Yeah, he can go to
Mike can't take both of them away.
Yeah, he can go to the top button right now, splitting the center line, and that rock is not going anywhere. Or he can play this shot. Can they come down and just tap this and just, well, that doesn't take away them. Can they come down and tap their own red?
Yeah.
That red, that's top 4 foot, and kind of just.
You'd like to tap it. You'd probably like to tap it on the center line side if you could, and then maybe break that freeze, or at least sit beside the yellow so it couldn't go anywhere. I don't see how you get there from either turn.
Well, what if you just come down with the out turn and you tap that red rock? It looks like he's playing it with weight.
The indication for Mike was he was looking to blast.
He's just going to blast and hope it goes over the top. Or it gets one of them.
Even if it doesn't, it's probably only killing one of them. The top yellow, the one that he's going to hit first, probably isn't going very far.
No, that's not going anywhere. But he's hoping this goes off the back, and he's probably hoping it catches the back 4 foot one too, and then
one of them for sure. Yeah, one of them. He can't leave both of those rocks there, or the freeze is still there.
Yeah, he's just gonna whistle this.
Actually surprised he had as much ice as he did.
Yeah, I just hit half a rock, and there you go. That works out pretty well, actually. Might be even fourth shot. Might have got lucky and got fourth shot out of that. That leaves Brent the intern freeze.
Actually surprised he had as much ice as he did.
Yeah, I just hit half a rock, and there you go. That works out pretty well, actually. Might be even. The thing about the intern freeze is that Mike can then just go on right on top of it for his one. So you almost want to think like in between. Do you want to try to steal here, or do you want to try to not give up two?
I'm not seeing any place where you got a good shot at the steal. You got to, if you can get a force out of this end, I think you got to take that.
Yeah.
If you leave separation, if you leave a foot between the two rocks, Mike McEwen will pick it out for two.
Yeah.
So you have to be right down to it.
So you have to be almost to it. But could you bite the center line on the button just bite the center line on the button.
He'll still pick it.
Yeah.
Even if he blasts it out, he's getting one. If he picks it clean, he's got two.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair.
Brent Pierce with a draw on his final stone here in the fourth. He's had a few draw opportunities. His weight's been good. It's been the line that he's struggled with.
Yeah.
And this is curling again.
Yeah, this is way over curling. This is danger.
Probably a little light on that one too. Now, that went through the same spot where they had what looked like a pick earlier in the end. I wonder if there's maybe a spot on the ice there.
They're determining whether or not this is for 4. If you could come down with a control weight and hit that yellow one, I think it is for 4.
You'd have to get to the inside of it. If you're straight back and it jams, it's...
Yeah, but even if you're straight...
It's there. You're right.
Yeah. Is it worth it? That is the question. It's not. Just take your 3. There's no... You could actually like be on the outside and maybe jam it on the back one, but that would be a really bizarre miss. This is a good chance. Just take the 3.
Mike wants to play it.
Well, they're looking at it looks nice from the hack, right? Or they're talking about the weight. I think they're just talking about the weight right now. I think that's still the shot. It probably looks makeable from the hack, and your eyes light up. 4, we could shake here. But 3, they probably don't shake. 4, they might.
6-1 is still a pretty good spot.
6-1 is a great spot, but I think they play. But 7-1, I think they quit. It's that fine line of, do we keep going or not?
Mike McEwen with his final stone in the fourth. Last rock. He's got 2 already. Needs a bite of the forefoot to pick up the 3rd point. They've got to hold this out. It's going to have to be well out there as it goes by the hog line.
You can tell the weight is pretty good because it's not moving side. It's not going sideways yet, but they got to get to the forefoot. Yeah, beauty.
Good job by the brushers, and Colton Flash will tell you that's why he's brushing and not holding the broom.
Yeah,
he is a big boy and a strong brusher.
Yeah.
Put 3 points on the board for Mike McEwen. He's got a 6-1 lead after 4 ends of play here. Brent Pierce will have last rock in the 5th.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, we got it.
Come on up. Okay, well, what do you got? You got 1, you got 2, yeah.
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Stronger agronomics, better returns, greater peace of mind. From pre-seed to post-harvest, you can count on the Victory Canola program to keep you and your farm ahead of the curve. Grow with us at victorycanola.com.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Sean Joyce, Matt Hames with you here from the Saville Curling Center. Curling Stadium, Edmonton. The Saville Shootout. Mike McEwen with 3 points in the fourth has opened up a 6-1 lead.
Desperation time.
Yeah, the teams have an option to take a break at the end of the fourth. They didn't do that, so as we come back here, we're just starting second stones, which is unfortunate because I wanted to talk about that as we came back. You can expect Brent Pierce now to throw 2 corner guards, and he did.
Yep.
I always find it interesting the last few years as the strategy under the 5 rock rule has evolved to see where teams are going to throw the second guard. I have seen teams try to line them up on the same side, much the way they would do on the center as well. But Brent sticking with the old traditional model, I guess, if you could call it that.
Yep.
Once upon a time, if we needed 2 corner guards, we split the house like he's done here. The key is, and I think they've done it well here, is you make sure those corner guards, when you're splitting, have to be wide enough that they don't take away your path to the middle.
Right.
And I think he's still got a path to the draw to the button, certainly on the outs.
Certainly on the out. Maybe not so much on the end, but it's certainly on the out. So like here, if you can make this double, if you can make this run back kind of Tripoli thing, like get all the rocks moving, you don't actually have to get rid of them. You just got to keep your shooter there, right? Which is great. That's perfect. So now all of a sudden, that's a great, look at that scenario. Couldn't draw it up better. They come around, you play a run back, it's your guard. Now all of a sudden, then you've got yourself a chance at getting some points here.
He doesn't even necessarily have to play the run back now on the next one.
No, he doesn't. He's always got that.
Yeah. I wonder if you might see him freeze to the stone right behind Mike's broom right now.
Yeah.
That stone ended up in a very good spot for Brent Pierce.
Perfect.
You get anywhere in front of it, you've got a little bit of protection from the front and from the back. And that stone sliding behind the tee line
that's helpful too.
That's Brent Pierce's friend as well.
Yeah, I think I like your shot. This intern come around the guard and just kind of freeze on that.
Well, if that one's sliding behind the tee line, you could freeze that one too.
Yeah.
The other freeze will always be there. The other thing, during the break, I was doing what I call, Matt, the curler's math. And the curler's math still works for Brent Pierce. And what the curler's math is you've got last rock, you score 2. If you never have to steal more than 1, you really don't need to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. You've scored 2 lots of times in your career. You've stolen 1 lots of times in your career. Well, if you score 2, steal 1, steal 1, steal 1, you get to an extra end. So, the curler's math still works.
Yeah. So the problem that I have with this shot as opposed to the intern is that if they just blast now, they could get rid of everything. They're not going to blast.
Blast what?
The
guard
center
back.
guard onto,
I see what you mean, but I don't think there's any chance that they're running a yellow one into the rings right now. If they're blasting, they're just playing a straight peel.
Yeah.
They'll give them 2 all day long.
They're just deciding to really go at him here and put some pressure on him, which I don't hate.
They seem to have taken the philosophy, we're going to make the other team hit first.
Yeah.
And I don't mind it. We talked about it earlier in the game. There was an end where we talked about you don't want to make a shot for the opposition.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what Mike is taking the approach that we're just going to keep putting the pressure on until they have to do something for us, and then we can peel.
Yeah, you just want to come down with like even freeze on this, right? Freeze tap like a tiny bit, move, just release your yellow, get on the nose and release your yellow.
Yeah. Well, you're not even worried about the back red either. This is a case of if you can tap the red to even with your yellow and now leave your shooter in a pocket, he's never getting more than 1 yellow out, even if the guard wasn't there. Can start to create a wall at the back of that 4-foot.
Yeah, it would be great. It's tempting. I think the key to this shot is to get to the nose, right? Like, I think that's what you need to do the most.
You could get to the inside of the nose actually and push it by everything and roll over.
If you get a hair inside, that's ideal.
That stone that he didn't freeze to, the one on the side of the 8-foot, it's still mostly exposed too. You could always come off of it to come into the stones of the back of the 4-foot at the end as well. So Brent Pierce has got a lot of rocks to work with. It's all a question of setting up some angles here.
Yeah, he's
gets to the inside.
Maybe a little too far, but not bad.
Yeah, didn't tap it quite as far as he probably would have liked to.
No, it's just setting up a pocket too, because Mike's going to just draw to everything, it appears. Which I support, because this is making the fun end. If he puts this here, Brent's going to have to hit. Looking pretty good. They're trying to cross again, right?
Might be over curling. I don't know if he's getting by the yellow.
No, yeah, that doesn't work out.
Just a little light.
Now you want to put it. Now you want to just come down and tap this rock to the back button, right? Like you don't want this rock to go away, do you?
You could just weld on it right now too.
Yeah, if you weld on it, he guard, which you're okay.
You've always got something to run in.
Yeah, you got some options.
If he's throwing a guard, there's the potential for 3 or 4.
Yeah, if you can freeze to it, right now, but if you freeze to it in your hair high side, they're just gonna blast, right?
If you're hair high side, you probably have to tap it a little bit.
Yeah,
just so that it comes off the yellow.
Even if you freeze to the inside, like you have to freeze dead on the nose. If you freeze a hair to the inside, he blasts. A hair to the outside, he blasts. That's all I'm saying about freeze.
You get a hair to the inside, I'm not sure the blast really helps Mike. He's only going to kill 1 yellow.
Yeah, but I think Mike comes out of it shot. Maybe not. Maybe not.
No, I think he comes out of it facing 2.
Yeah.
Or you're talking about if he moves it. I'm talking about if he welds it to the inside corner.
Yeah, if he welds it to the inside corner. If he welds it to the inside corner and Mike blasts it.
Yeah, I think he's only killing.
Blast it into that little pocket and get both of those yellows moving. Because it's going that way anyway.
Yeah, I see what you mean, but I don't think it ever comes to the back one. I think it'll just hit the back end of the higher stone and sit right there.
Yeah, probably. But I think there's a chance. I think they're throwing this with more weight than I'm comfortable with right now.
If he moves it, there's a double available on yellows for sure, and maybe a triple if he sits it in the wrong spot.
I think I like your freeze and at most tap it a couple of inches. I don't think moving this is rocks are your friends right now. I think this just risks making it a little bit easier for Mike.
If you're going to move it at all, Do you try to hit about half a rock and roll groom side?
Looks like they're going to do that anyway.
Just get right out of there.
Yeah,
You've still
looks
got
like
the
they're
across
doing.
the house double on the wide red one.
Well, let's see.
Yeah, that's just too much separation. There's really
Yeah, that's too much. That's too much separation. That was my original thought too. But that was the original thought I had, but I talked myself out of it completely. My original thought was that exact shot, but it's not good. It's not a good result. Because now half a rock and they're all moving, and now you're freezing to back to like.
And he might take that one out of the side of the 8 foot too, which again it's been in my eye for a while because it's a rock that Brent Pierce could have come off of to get to a rock at the back of the 4 foot.
I think he's probably going to lose that too.
Yeah, it's hard for him not to hit it.
Yeah.
Now his shooter might stay there, so there still might be something over there.
Yeah. Well, all you're doing is I think a guard would have probably been a better call there because you had that shot you were talking about coming off that into that back pocket. Still, you always had that shot. Anyway, let's see what happens here.
Yeah, it is possible when he hits this. He could make the double, but lose the 2 reds at the back of the 4 foot, which still leaves Brent in the spot where he might have a chance for 2 here.
Yeah.
Don't know if it'll get over the top or not. Loses one of them. So McEwen sitting shot at the back of the 4 foot, but the Pierce stone at the top of the 4 foot is second, and it's still buried.
Yeah, it's dead. It's over buried. It's in.
Make the double, but lose the 2 reds at the back of the 4 foot, which still leaves Brent in the spot where he might have a chance for 2 here.
Yeah.
Don't know if it'll get over the top or not. Loses one of them. So McEwen, I'm not sure it ever gets across the top of that.
Yeah, probably not.
I wasn't 100% sure that it wouldn't move both of them. It didn't touch the second one, so that's left-hand sitting shot.
I don't think you need to sit 2 here, right? Like you only need to but you do need to sit. I don't even think you need to sit 1. You need to sit second and third. Like if you could go top button.
I don't hate the freeze.
Yeah, I don't.
He's looking at the freeze, and again, part of the reasoning here is he's still got that in off.
Right, that's
so
what
if you freeze and Mike McEwen freezes again, you've got the in off for 3.
Yeah.
So I don't think Mike will play that. There's not a chance he plays that.
I think yeah.
This is where I wish I had a telestrator. If you freeze that stone the back button, and boy, if you really want to
Mike freezes, you leave a half a rock double for 3.
For 3, exactly.
Or if this shot, if Brent can actually make the tap and lay 2 here.
There's that. He could move it 2 or 3 inches, but he still wants to stay in front of it. He doesn't want to leave Mike a chance to blast it out.
If he freezes and then he can make the fit off for 2. If he can sit 2 after this shot, it would be pretty good. Just move it a little bit. Go sideways.
He's got to get by the red at the top of the 8 foot.
It looks like he's by. Bouncing
more
a little
than just
too far.
A freeze weight.
No,
not bad.
That's perfect. Beautiful. Now here's the freeze. He knows he's got a freeze on the center line side. He's got a half freeze on this, which means they got to go a little wider than they think, and this is really hard to call.
Well, I don't know if that shot works either. You freeze on the center line side, he hits it on the nose for 3.
Right. That's fair. Yeah, he does. There's not a lot of good spots to put this rock if you're Mike. This is a great shot by Brent there. I guess you just got to put it center line side, like just off nose, right where his broom was there. That's about it.
And hope that he loses one of them. He's always going to have the shot for 2. I don't think, you can make it really tough.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any way he's not going to have a shot for 2. The question is whether or not he might have a shot still for 3.
He might have a shot for 3, yeah.
And I think he will.
Also, I mean, you got to make this, right? If you're,
You do.
like, you got to make this great to even leave a shot for 2. This is a tough shot. Interesting to note that he's up 6-1 right now. I like the way this end is going. I'm not sure he does.
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't looked at it, and I don't know that you ever would. I mean, I'm looking at it only because I'm a commentator, not a player. But I'm wondering, do you not just guard the red one and say, you can have your 2? I'm just not giving you 3. If you guard the red one, how does he get in?
Yeah. Yeah, you just kind of guard this path. I thought you were going to say, like, go through the port and pick the yellow onto yellow with the intern.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's there either, though.
No.
Well, that's decent. But you're right. It's
there for 3 because it's going to drag into the back.
It's going to drag into the back one.
It's tough. It's tougher than it probably looks because
that's about as good of a shot as Mike could have made.
Yeah, you got to hit the first one really thin to get to the side of that red. You don't want to hit it too much on the top.
Yeah, you got to hit like a quarter rock
or less.
Yeah, less than you think. It's hard to play this with the intern because you have to call it when it hasn't hit the rock yet.
Well, yeah, but the intern actually, you'll get the deeper roll. So to some extent, the intern works a little easier.
This is the right way to play it. It's just
you want to get into the side of that second red as much as you can, and think about where you're making contact with the first red. You're still at the top of the 4-foot, and trying to hit the side of that second red. It's tough.
It's hard to throw and it's hard to call because you have to throw it. You're off the rock.
Yeah, you're almost line calling it like a miss.
Yeah. Starting with like a normal weight hit off the rock is really hard because when you're calling the sweep for it, you're calling sweep when you're not hitting the rock yet. Over curling.
Really curling. This might be a little too thick.
Yeah.
Makes contact, comes across, but it's the front end of the red stone and pushes it straight back. It's a steal of 1.
Yeah.
He had the chance, just picks up the single.
Yeah.
So it's now 7-1 after 5 ends. The Pierce team having a quick discussion here. I think they're still trying to decide, do we play on or is it time to shake hands? And they've decided it's time to shake hands. Mike McEwen picking up a 7-1 victory here over Brent Pierce to move to 3-0 in his pool, and Brent Pierce with his 3rd loss. Probably just playing his last 2 to be spoiler. Solid game for the McEwen team, and boy, they put on pressure the whole way through. They had
put
the lead
pressure
in the first end and just kept piling the pressure on.
They just kept coming at them. Well, that was a lot of fun. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you, Matt. We'll quickly recap some of the other scores here in this draw 6. This was the later half, so 5 of these games already finished. Ryland Kleider was a 7-3 winner over Kenan Whip. Reed Carruthers, 7-3 winner as well over Jason Tao. Evan Van Amsterdam, 5-3 over Chase Sinnett. Takomi Mayed, 8-3 winner over Andrew Dunbar. Kevin Cooey, 8-3 over Ryan Jock. Now the other games that started at the same time as this one's still underway. Yuzeki Morozumi over Scott Dunham 4-2 as they play in the 6th. Dunham has last rock there. Steve Laycock with a 4-2 lead over Ethan Sampson. And Sampson has last rock in the 6th. Aaron Sluchinski and Zach Davies tied at 2. Davies with last rock. And Jordan McDonald, Jacob Libas, McDonald with a 4-1 lead as they play in the 6th. Libas with last rock. All 4 of those games available on Curling Stadium. Right now, you can turn over to one of the other games and watch them. We will have another draw for you starting in about 2 hours' time, I think it is, or an hour's time. All the action continuing in the round robin for the rest of the weekend and Championship Monday. My name is Sean Joyce. I want to thank Matt Hames for joining us, and thank you for joining us at home. We'll see you again later on tonight.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you soon.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
A lot of them last year.
I
not
did a bunch of them
promise
last year too.
It embarrasses me to mispronounce their names. So
Yeah,
you do
I
the
can
best
try
you can.
if you want. I can try. You usually get a lot of Japanese people watching.
Oh yeah, you do. But I can't understand what they're saying in chat. So if they're
Exactly.
if they're correcting my pronunciations, I can't understand it. So it's
Right.
they certainly are some good players technically,
Oh, yeah.
and that's true of all the Asians, the Japanese, the Koreans, and the.
When curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
Talk about what the game is. So like there's just so much on the internet now that you can throw a ton of rocks and you can watch a ton of curling. And our ability to be